Hey, it's Yay for Yarn, and today I'm reviewing my first shipment from Ice Yarns. Alright, so before we get started here, I just need to mention that these yarns were sent to me by Ice Yarns to review. I did not purchase these myself, they were sent to me for this video. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into the review and I'll show you what I got here. So Ice Yarns is a company in Turkey who produces a whole bunch of different kinds of yarns, and you can order them from the US. And if you've watched some of my recent yarn reviews, you may have heard me mention that yarns made in Turkey, especially acrylic yarns, tend to be slightly nicer quality than yarns that are made in China. And I don't know why that is, but that seems to be a general tendency over all of the Turkish-made versus Chinese-made acrylic yarns that I've tried. So I chose 3 different yarns here to try out. I've never ordered from them before, but the main reason that I am excited about these yarns is that they are extremely cheap. They are very, very low priced compared to yarns that you would buy here in the US. And I will go into that in more detail later and give you like a price comparison of what a similar yarn to each one of these would cost here in the US in a craft store or online. But by cutting out like all the people in between the factory and when you get it, that cuts down the price significantly on all of these different yarns. And they have, I think, over 5,000 yarns on their site. And this can be a little bit overwhelming, but they do have categories. So if you know exactly what you're looking for example, if you know you want a cotton yarn, you can just click the cotton category and it will only show you the cotton yarns that they have or whatever. But they have a ton of different variety. They have a bunch of yarns that look surprisingly identical to some of the yarns that we have here in our craft stores in the US. So my guess is that for some of those yarns, they are getting them from the same place as some of the major companies that sell them here. So I wanted to show you the different yarns that I got and what I think of each one, and kind of give you a price comparison, an idea of how this works, because there are a few little differences when you're ordering from Ice Yarns versus when you order from a company in the US. So far I have felt all of these yarns and they feel very nice to me. Eventually I will probably do a yarn review on each one of them individually after I have started using them in a project and have a feel for how they knit up or crochet up or whatever. So first of all, let's start with this pink yarn. This one is called Favorite Worsted, and the colorway that I have is called Powder Pink. And this yarn is super, super soft for a worsted weight yarn. There's just something a little different about yarns that are made in Turkey as far as acrylics go in the feel. They don't have a plasticky feel to them. I know some Chinese yarns that we have here in the States do have kind of that plasticky feel or a lower quality feel, but this has a very soft, smooth, very nice, soft, squishy feel to it. And I'm noticing that the strand of this yarn has a decent amount of fuzz. So it kind of has more of a low sheen, almost a natural fiber look to it. Even though it is acrylic, it doesn't have like a sheen to it at all. I mean, maybe very slight, but not much. So this is a pure acrylic yarn, and it comes in 100 gram skeins, and this is a number 4 worsted weight. Now, one thing I'm noticing about their yarn labels is that they print the little yarn weight symbol very small, so it can be a little bit harder to read. But they also do not print the yardage. They give you the grams and the meters, but they don't print the ounces and the yardage on the label, even though all of that information is included on the website. And the other thing is they don't put the colorway name on the label either, but it is given on the outside of the pack right here. This is Favorite Powder Pink. And these skeins cost $1.25 each, but here's the catch. With ice yarns, unless you are ordering really big skeins, you're ordering them in a pack. So, for example, this particular yarn comes in packs of 4. This one comes in packs of 4, and this one down here comes in packs of 6. So, depending on how big the skeins are, they might be packs of 2, packs of 3, packs of 6. Some of the little tiny skeins come in packs of 8. It just depends on the yarn. But that is one little thing that you want to take note of, is that you cannot order for most of their yarns, unless it's a huge skein, you cannot order by the skein. You're ordering a pack of skeins, not individual skeins. So, like I said, this particular yarn, the Favorite Worsted, this comes in a pack of 4 skeins for $4.99. And then the skeins, individual skeins, come out to $1.25 each. And it is really helpful because on their site, they do tell you how much each skein comes out to. Even though it tells you how much the whole pack costs, it also tells you how much it is coming out to per skein when you buy that whole pack. So I've got 2 4-packs of this Favorite Worsted, and like I said, it is super soft, and this is a great all-purpose yarn, but this is not the only all-purpose acrylic that they have. They have a ton of variety in acrylics. They have bulky, super bulky, lots of different thicknesses and types of acrylic yarns. They also have a lot of the color changing yarns. They have a lot of the glittery type of yarns. They've got eyelash yarns, chenille, t-shirt yarn, everything that you can imagine. Pretty much every kind of yarn that you would find in a craft store, they have it. So this is the Favorite Worsted. And then this one is called Camilla Cotton, and I got the navy. And this is a yarn that I am really excited to work with because I live in a warm climate and we don't have a whole lot of sweater weather here in Florida. So as much as I enjoy making cozy sweaters and wearing cozy sweaters, it's not really cold enough to wear them all the time in the winter. So for example, we might have a few cold days and then it'll be like back in the 80s for another week, even in, January or December. So I can't get as much use out of those cozy sweaters as somebody who lives in a colder climate. So I am very, very happy with their selection of cotton yarns and summer-friendly yarns. They have a ton of different yarns that are pure cottons, cotton blends, cotton blended with bamboo. They have pure bamboo yarns, all kinds of really nice summer-friendly yarns. So I am really excited to try some of these summer-friendly yarns in some of my upcoming designs because that is something that's kind of hard to find here. And most stores and companies in the US that sell yarn, they sell mostly things like wool and acrylic, and although they might have a few cotton yarns or cotton blends, there's just not a ton of variety in summery type of yarns here in the US. So I cannot wait to try this out. But this particular yarn, this is the Camilla Cotton, and it is mercerized cotton, which means it's kind of shiny. It's somehow they treat it to mercerize it, and it gives it an extra sheen and strength to it. And so this particular yarn is a very smooth, like a very soft rope-like texture, and it has a sheen to it, which I really love. It makes it look more high quality, I think, in the finished product when the yarn has a little bit of a sheen. And this yarn is very smooth, very low fuzz, but it's still surprisingly very soft. Some of the other mercerized cottons that I have tried, and I'm going to mention one later in the video just for example, but some of the other mercerized cotton yarns that I have tried are not this soft. They're more dense and rope-like. So I will definitely let you know how I like this once I've started working with it and making it into something. But this looks really nice, so this will be neat to see how my project turns out in this yarn. And this comes in 50-gram skeins, 125 meters, which is about 136 yards. And this one comes in a pack of 6. So the pack of 6 costs $7.99 US dollars, and they come out to $1.33 per skein. Alright, so this one is the Cotton Bamboo Light. And just for clarification, there is a Cotton Bamboo, and then there's a Cotton Bamboo Light, and they're very similar, but they're two different thicknesses. So the Cotton Bamboo Light is a DK weight yarn. Oh, I think I forgot to mention that this one is a number 2 fine or sport weight. But this one is a DK weight or number 3 light. And this is a cotton and bamboo blend. And this type of label does have the information on it, but it's kind of tucked inside. So if I kind of pull that out a little bit, we can see the whole thing. So this is showing the fiber content and the little number 3 light symbol on it. So this is 60% bamboo and 40% cotton. And I think this has a very nice feel to it. It is very soft. The bamboo gives it a nice sheen. I can see this having a lot of drape when it's worked into something. Very smooth, very soft, and it just has a really nice high quality feel to it. All the yarns that I've gotten here seem very nice quality. So it will be interesting to see how they work up in a project. But like I said, I will definitely review them individually once I have used them for real in a project. But this is I think this is called Dark Cream, that's the colorway. But this is a 100 gram skein, and like I said, it's DK weight. You get a pack of 4 skeins for $8.99, and they come out to $2.25 each. So this yarn I think is a very nice quality yarn as well. So now we're going to get into the prices here and start comparing the prices of these yarns to prices of yarns that you could get here in a craft store in the US. Now, I've got everything written down here on a piece of paper. You probably won't be able to see all of this clearly on camera with the lighting, but I will go ahead and put screenshots here of each of the yarns and with the prices and everything, and I'll show you what it looks like in the shopping cart. So as I mentioned earlier, I did not purchase these yarns. I did not pay for these. They were sent to me by Ice Yarns. But I went ahead and priced out what this exact order would have cost if I were to order these same exact yarns from their website. So up here I have 2 packs of the Favorite Worsted in powder pink. These are each 100 gram skeins. That's a total of 8 skeins. And 2 packs of 4 at $4.99 each. Comes out to $9.98 for these 2 packs of yarn. Then I have the Camilla Cotton in the navy. This is sport weight. These are a pack of 6 for $7.99, so I got 1 pack of 6. And then I got 1 pack of 4 of the Cotton Bamboo Light, and this is $8.99 for the pack of 4. So, for all the yarn right here, just the yarn itself would have cost $26.96. However, we have to keep in mind here that this is not coming just from another state in the US. This is coming all the way from Turkey. They're not shipping this from a warehouse in the US. So as extremely cheap as this yarn is, the shipping can't really be as cheap as if we were to buy this same yarn in the States from a warehouse in the US. So the shipping would have cost $23.95, which would bring our order total to $50.91. And if you divide that total shipping cost between the number of skeins that I got, that would be $1.33 in shipping per skein. Now that might seem crazy, but hold on a second because I'm going to show you how this would compare to if I bought an equivalent yarn in the same quantities from a different company in the US. So the shipping prices might seem kind of outrageous, but you have to remember that this is shipping halfway across the world, and they're not shipping like, 2 to 3 to 4 weeks time frame. They're shipping, the quote of the shipping price that they give you is for shipping in 2 to 6 business days to the US, and to be shipping it halfway across the world in 2 to 6 business days is pretty quick. So this is definitely not slow shipping, and even with that extra shipping cost divided amongst all the skeins, this still comes out cheaper than if we were to order from Lion Brand. So I went on lionbrand.com, Just for comparison, there are plenty of other companies out there that sell yarn in the US, of course, but Lion Brand had some of the closest comparisons to the same types of yarns that they have from Ice Yarns. A lot of companies do not have the kinds of cottons and bamboos and the mercerized cotton and stuff that they have from Ice Yarns. Everybody has a basic worsted weight acrylic, but not very many companies have yarns that involve some of these nicer cotton fibers. So I've tried to get the closest comparison that I could to each of these yarns and price out the same quantity of yarn for a comparable yarn for each one of these. And then I've put that all together as if I were to order that from Lion Brand, because they have the closest comparisons of as far as all the major companies in the US that I looked at. So for the favorite worsted, I'm comparing this to Lion Brand Basic Stitch Premium. And this particular yarn, the Basic Stitch Premium, retails for $4.99 for 100 grams. Now this is straight from the Lion Brand website. And I have 8 skeins of favorite worsted. So if I were to order 8 skeins of Lion Brand Basic Stitch Premium, that would cost me $39.92. Now, for the Camilla Cotton, there really isn't a good comparison to this yarn because this is a number 2 fine mercerized cotton, and there aren't very many mercerized cottons available in the US from major brands. So I am comparing this to 24/7 cotton, which is a mercerized cotton from Lion Brand, which is worsted weight, but that's the closest comparison that they had. Now, I have accounted for the fact that 24/7 cotton comes in 100-gram skeins instead of 50-gram skeins. So instead of 6 50-gram skeins, I have priced out what 3 100-gram skeins of 24/7 would cost. And the 24/7 cotton, which isn't even exactly the same kind of yarn, it's a little bit thicker. It's a worsted weight instead of sport weight. But that yarn retails for $4.99 per 100 grams, and it would take 3 100-gram skeins to equal the 6 50-gram skeins that I have of the Camilla Cotton, and that would cost $14.97. So for the Cotton Bamboo Light, the closest comparison that I found to this yarn from Lion Brand is Kobu, which is a cotton bamboo blend, which is also a DK weight. And these are 100-gram skeins here from Ice Yarns. Kobu also comes in 100-gram skeins, which are $5.99 a piece, and at 4 of those, at $5.99 a piece, that would cost $23.96 if we were to order these straight from Lion Brand. So Lion Brand quoted me $9.20 in shipping, which would bring our total to $88.05. So in spite of the seemingly crazy expensive shipping from Turkey, from Ice Yarns, it still comes out cheaper to get a comparable yarn from Ice Yarns than to get these yarns from Lion Brand. Now, I realize that there are other worsted weight acrylic yarns that are lower quality and are a little bit cheaper, but I'm just going for, if we were to order these all from the same company, what it would cost us. And I also did not take into account any kind of sales or discounts. I realized that you could go into a craft store, take your coupons with you, or get some of these yarns on sale, and you could get this slightly cheaper as far as the comparison quote here. And if you went and bought them in a store, you would not have to pay the $9.20 shipping. But this still comes out to a higher price, a higher cost, than ordering it from Ice Yarns. So that is the main advantage of getting yarn from them versus getting yarn from companies here in the US is the price. Even though the shipping is crazy expensive compared to what we're used to, the yarn price still makes up for it because it still comes out cheaper. And the yarn is every bit as high quality as what we can get here in a craft store. So by ordering these yarns right here from Ice Yarns instead of ordering a comparable set of yarns from Lion Brand, we would be saving almost $40 in cost in spite of the $24 shipping from Ice Yarns. So I think that is the main advantage to ordering from Turkey, but I really think that these are nice quality yarns. So I guess the real question is, would I have ordered all of this yarn if I were paying for it and not having it sent to me by the company? And I would say yes, I would, because the cost savings is pretty significant, especially if you're going for some of these nicer fibers. They have a lot of summer yarns, like I mentioned, but they also have a lot of really nice wools, alpacas. They have some nice superwash merino yarn. And of course, I have not tried everything on their site. That's pretty much impossible because they have over 5,000 yarns. But from what I've got here, a little sampling of what they offer, I think they're pretty high quality, and I would order from them in the future if I were to just want to go buy some yarn. I would definitely order from them and be able to get it cheaper. So I have project ideas planned out for all of these yarns coming in the future on my channel. So if you want to see what I'm going to make with these, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I post new videos, and you'll be able to see what I end up making with these yarns. But I will definitely be making patterns and projects from these yarns for my channel and on my blog. So stay tuned for those. And I've gone ahead and linked all of these yarns in the description box down below if you want to go and give them a try. But I would definitely recommend ordering from Ice Yarns because I really think that the cost savings in yarn in general over all of their yarns is really good. And I would definitely order from them myself. So I would highly recommend going and checking out their yarns. They seem to have some really nice quality yarns and a very, very, very wide selection. So they have just about anything you could possibly want on their site. So go ahead and go check them out. The link is down below in the description box. And stay tuned to see what I'll make with these. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you've ever tried ice yarns before, let me know how you liked it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, making sure you click the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of new videos. Thanks for watching.